convening this meeting of the ad hoc, no, the Advocacy Ad Hoc Committee, which had been the Ad Hoc Committee on Advocacy. The Advocacy Ad Hoc Committee on Thursday, February 5th. It is now 5:47. We are starting late because we were waiting for a few more people to arrive, and because we had technical difficulties. The meeting is being held on Teams. We have one member of the board here with us on Teams, and will be broadcast later. Because of those technical difficulties, if the technical difficulties are fixed, it'll be broadcast from the point that those difficulties are repaired. So I'm calling the meeting to order at 5:48. I'm Rob Traber, chair of this committee. With me on the board, well, actually, the first item of business is introductions. So I have introduced myself, and I'm just going to go to the left. I would ask, when you introduce yourself, you explain that this is a different kind of committee. We're trying something different. It is a hybrid committee where everybody participates, not just board members. And we are here to advocate for increased resources, i.e. more money for the school system, with the city council, with the legislature. And frankly, if we can think of other ways, other places to look, we'll look for it in other places too. But this committee is designed to have board members, but not just board members participate, but other members of the school community, that would be employees, parents, and students. Other members of the Bridgeport community join us and participate in how we might do that. So it's designed to be an open and interactive committee, which is why I keep saying to people, join us at the table, because we want everybody to participate. So as we go around the room, if you could introduce yourself and explain who you are, why you're here, what your concerns are. So you'll start.
Vice Chair of the Board of Education. Here because my son was a student. Here because my son was a student, and he felt the effects of the schools, and job's not finished yet, even though he is.
My name is Todd Sample. I live in 133, right by St. Vincent's. I've lived in Bridgeport now for a year, and I'm just here to advocate for our kids in the Bridgeport school system.
Kim McLaughlin. I've been working to push for more resources for Bridgeport schools forever. My daughter went through the system. So I started when she was young. She's now in late 30s. So it's been a long time. And I never give up hope. The more people we get active and vocal, the better shot we have. And we know a lot of the legislatures now after 30 some years. So I think we have a good shot if we keep pushing and get more people at this table.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Benahanga Hollis. I'm one of the board members from Bridgeport Public School. That's my second term. We almost 20 years in the district. My kids went to Bridgeport Public School. And the reason I'm here is because we need to work more for our kids, parents, and staff. As always, I say, together we can make the difference. When we have communication and respect, we have regret to settle. Nothing is perfect, only God. And I know we can do the best for our children. I know Bridgeport's not going to give up. I know our team is not going to give up because we want the best for our children. So we want the best for our children. That's the priority right now. Thank you.
Lisa Valdano. I'm a Bridgeport teacher for 15 years, and I'm also a resident here for over 10 years. And I'm here for all the same reasons I think that I've already said.
Jeff Morrissey. I've been teaching in the district since 1998, and I am the current AEA president, representing the teachers of the district. I'm here clearly to listen and also take from these meetings things back. So when we have some of our discussions, within the union with other unions, we can continue to advocate for what the kids and the teachers of this district deserve.
I'm Becca Saxon, and I am the CEA union rep who works with the teachers union here in Bridgeport. I'm here in part because, Jeff told me to be here, so I do what Jeff tells me. But more importantly, from the bigger picture, I grew up in New Haven. I went to the New Haven Public Schools for elementary school and part of middle school now many, many years ago, and I am really disheartened to see how far we have backslid in this state in terms of educational inequality from what was available for students when I was a kid versus what is now available for students in the urbans. And so whatever I can do to make that change happen for the next generation, I will do.
Gilbert Melendez, 60-year resident, Bridgeport, 20 years former employee of the Board of Ed. I'm always here just to observe.
PJ Carafa, Chief Information Officer. I've been here about 30 years. The same thing over and over. Our thing is funding, making sure the schools have adequate support, adequate leadership, making sure our children are getting the services that they need. There's a lot of surrounding towns and districts at this point who have triple what we have, sometimes quadruple. I think it's unfair. I think that we have to put our foot down at some point, and we've got to really advocate for our children, for the needs of Bridgeport Public Schools. In some cases, it's not just a voice. We have to go and show action. We have to make sure that together as a unit, and I know Albert says this all the time, but it is true. One person is not going to do it, and in some cases it takes the village to be able to do the things that we need to do. I think with proper support, the community believing in one another, understanding the goal, which is the children, the teachers, the schools, the administrative staff, and everything that we need here. Those are the important things of why we're sitting here right now. I wouldn't be here without children. None of us would be. The point that was made about New Haven and about what they had years ago, I'm in agreement with that. That what you look at now, our kids are no different than what we were 50 years ago at this point. They deserve the same things that they did then as they do now. I know we have advocates on the board who have been fighting this fight for a long time. And I'm in belief and know from being in deficits for all kinds of years that there's an inequity in the funding sources, in the way that we're getting money. And we're here to try to do something about it and to make sure as a team collectively that we can have a discussion and make sure that they hear our voice, if nothing else, that we're sick of this and we need to make a change. And the change is now, not 5 years from now. We need to make a change now, and we need to make our voice heard. And those are just the things that we need to do. I'm sick of taking away and then saying, what else are we going to cut? We have nothing to cut. There's nothing more to take out of schools. There's nothing more we can do. When we're looking at our children and what they used to have and what they have now, I am embarrassed. It's a shame. We got to stop taking away and start advocating for more. Why are we taking away when we need to supplement and support things with more people? As simple as that.
I'm Marge Hughes. I cannot compete with PJ Carafa's last statement, but I'm here to advocate for our schools and our teachers and our principals and our children.
I'm Nestor Nipor. I'm the Chief Financial Officer. Here for the overall wellness or welfare of Bridgeport children, trying to apply the best ability that God has given me for the welfare of Bridgeport children.
I'm Sangeeta Bella, Executive Director of School Leadership. I've been in the district for 32 years, right before you, Jeff. And I remember, and so the reason I'm here is because Bridgeport was always home to me. And to see what we had to where we have come, to our students' needs have grown, our resource have diminished over the years. And, we ask our teachers, our principals, our staff to do more with less. And why? I mean, what is it? What is the difference between here and the next town over? So why can't we get the same but we're asked to, we are compared with them, right? So if you give us what they have, we will prove to you what we can do. We have a great team. We have excellent teachers. We have administrators who want to work and who are here for the students, but we don't have the funding. So, we are all talking the same language, but somebody needs to listen to us and say, hey, we need the resources to support our families and our communities. And so I'm here to advocate, support my superintendent and the board and whatever it takes to get the job done.
Hi, my name is Michelle McKinley. And I am the Chief of Special Education, and I see both worlds. I am highly disheartened. I go into special education classrooms, and we're asking teachers to do more with very, very little. Our students with disabilities need far more, and they need better. If we're expected to close the gaps, we have to give our teachers what they need in order to close those gaps. Our students need they need more than foundation. In some of our classrooms, we don't even have the foundation. And they need better. And I am here to help advocate for that.
Hi, everybody. My name is Hannah Whitley. I'm the Deputy Grants Director for the district. I have been here for 2 years, and I actually came specifically for this job. So before that, I ironically got my PhD in rural sociology, but the difference between rural and urban is not that much. So I grew up poor, white, rural community in Oregon, and have been writing grants since I was like 12, 13 years old. And so that's what I'm here is to figure out how can I use the talents that I have to support the district in the best way I can to advocate for what is needed.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Roy Savory, the interim school superintendent in Bridgeport Public Schools. I come with about 35 years of experience. This is not my first rodeo. I'm really trying to be able to be a leader to kind of help this district kind of rally the troops to kind of provide additional support for our children. And I think this is the prime time for that. I think the community is ready to collaborate and get together. And so my job is to kind of help connect those dots and bring everybody together and get up to Hartford and make Bridgeport proud.
Maritza?
Good afternoon, everyone. Maritza Stramera Jimenez. I am the board secretary, but most importantly, I'm the parent of 2 kids that go to Bridgeport Public School. And I think everything that, I stand for has been said. Advocacy is very much needed to make sure that our kids are getting their equity, their equal parts of education. And honestly, enough is enough with really just choking us out and not properly funding. So yeah.
And Willie, are you there now?
Yes, I am.
I don't see your usual handsome self. Oh, there you are.
Hi, guys. Willie Medina, Bridgeport Board of Education. I'm on my 3rd year right now. I thank everyone for showing up today and showing up with a plan and with a purpose. My pastor taught us always that if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. I think this group right now is fine tuning themselves and focus on what we need to do and how we need to do it. I would love to see everyone to continue to speak power to power and to know that we need to take our kids' glove off. This is not the season to be rowing with little paddles. We need to get our big paddles out and start moving this needle because enough is enough. I think we have plenty of people on the table right now and with Dr. Avery and the rest of the team and those that have been born and bred here, that I think we should start moving this needle now. And I think our voices should be heard in a mighty, mighty way. So I look forward to joining with all of you to speak in every single meeting that we can, and also to go before them and to the different hearings and speak as individuals, but also as part of this team. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all. I sort of jumped the gun on item 3.
You gotta go first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't see.
Board Garcia and Giancarlo joined.
How you doing, everyone? George Garcia, Chief Operating Officer.
Go ahead, George.
I've been in and out of the district for 30 years. I'm a product of the Bridgeport school system. I've seen the ups and downs over these years, both from the internal perspective as a student and also as a staff member, the good times and the bad times. The unique moment that we're in now is that, we have had an audit. We've got a facilities master plan, which is consistent of a facilities condition assessment and a demographic study. We have our recommendations from the state. We have the tech teams in. Bridgeport is positioned in a way that we haven't been. We're based on facts and data. We have all of the information in front of us for a change. And I think that now is the time. If there was ever a moment where we're positioned to be able to make the request that we need to get these children what they need, it's now. So that's my part, my piece.
Thank you. And Giancarlo. Giancarlo, are you there? Going once, Giancarlo? Okay. I sort of jumped the gun on item 3, the objective, but I did state earlier in starting calling the meeting to order that we should. We have those up. Can we grab those and just run them around? Just grab them up. They're on the podium there. Just pass them down. Grab the whole stack and let's pass them down. The agendas. So the objective of this committee is what I said, which is how do we get more money for the schools? And I don't think there's anything magical about that item. I just want to put it out there for you all. The more magical thing is, so how do we make this committee work? And we're sort of going to follow Robert's rules. It's sort of hybrid committee. And I don't have any, I'm the chair, but there's not, we have to try and limit the speech because we're going to let everybody speak. But we can't have everybody speaking too much. And I don't have any other guidance.
I've done some ad hoc committees in the past with community participation. And what I found was best practices, you recognize the board members first. The board members would be able to do most of the debating, but the community members who give suggestions and talk, and when the debate gets too much with the community members, then they're restraining them a little bit. And
I sort of see that, but I'm hoping we don't get there.
yeah, but just for acknowledgements, when I was done it as well, we got community participation in our various committees. And the important thing to understand is everybody's value to run an efficient meeting. It's got to be limited, as you said, and there's got to be some sort of parameters.
Again, let me be clear. I don't see this quite the same way. I understand what you're saying. I'm not. I see what
you're up the
I see them. Yeah, no. I appreciate that, and I see how that would have been the case in the past with certain hybrids. But this is going to be a sort of collaborative meeting, and so we're going to have people join us who, are going to want to participate in certain ways, and we're just going to have to me, play it by ear. So I'm just throwing that out there for everybody to know. We'll see how it goes, is what I'm saying. I appreciate your input and thought, and I see what you're saying exactly. But I don't know that we're going to be voting on a lot versus sort of running a meeting. I've run a lot of meetings, whether they're contract negotiations, union meetings, community meetings, that we're gonna just sort of collaboratively move forward. And I don't know that we're gonna be voting on one. That we're gonna be more talking about how do we organize and work together to move forward on the common item that I heard everybody agree on, which is how do we get more money for the schools? So I don't know, in other ones, you actually had a purpose. It was slightly different.
Right. I was just referring to speech time.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm speaking after the board meeting. So, I think I should. No, you talked twice. I just want to say that we need to attract an awful lot more organizations and people from the community, and it's crucial to get a lot more people, that there's a lot, they get to speak and they get to bring their ideas and their expertise, and they will have a lot more expertise in areas that we don't. For instance, they will have special relationships with particular legislators that we don't have. And that's going to be very crucial. So I honestly think there's nobody special here. We should bring other people in, and if somebody's dominating, I don't care whether they're elected, not elected, they're state rep, senate, we need everyone, right? And so, that's where I'm coming from. And if there's a board member who talks too much, I'm gonna raise my hand and say, please don't talk so much. But somebody who knows, in such and such a district where we need that vote, who knows them, or who knows them? Because that's how you get the votes. That's how you put on pressure. So,
Let me just correct you on one thing. Everybody's special here.
okay. You're not, no. He's my other.
Appreciate that. So you heard that, I mean, that's just what Joe said, what I said. It's gonna be an ongoing sort of evolution, and we'll move from there. Because I don't know that we're gonna have a lot of votes versus agreeing, and we will discuss how we want to proceed. One of the things that we'll discuss later is how do we move this meeting forward and get more people involved. Right? So is anybody have any other thoughts on rules? I don't want to spend a lot of time on it tonight. Okay. Update on the budget. We had a meeting last night. I'll let Dr. Avery start this discussion.
Yeah, we had a meeting last night to kind of, redefine the three budget proposals that I presented last week. We had some rich conversation around really looking at, historical, cuts and losses of the district. And the board has given myself and the team an opportunity to kind of go back and look at some of those cuts and bring forward to the board for Monday night to have a deeper conversation about the things that the board would like to see in this new revised proposal for final adoption. And so we had the $44 million budget, the $47 million budget, and the $61 million budget. And so we're going to massage that a little bit and really kind of give the board some things that as we look and pull the curtain back of the things we lost over the last couple of years, to kind of give them a taste of the things that we might need for our district to be, on the same playing field with other districts around us. And so some of those types of things we talked about is instructional coaches, where in the past we used to have instructional coaches at all campuses in the district. And so we're looking at, considering bringing the cost of those back into this budget as well. Just a variety of other things that we are going to be considering: assistant principals, counselors, librarians. All those things are going to be brought back for consideration for the board to explore for Monday night. So short and sweet to the point, but I think it was very meaningful. We had a really good conversation, a couple of hours long, but I think it was a lot of fluid conversation about the need and the advocacy piece that we're going to kind of fine tune in the next couple of days.
Any other board members want to comment about that? Monday night's board meeting, we have to pass a budget. Budget has to go to the city. So we will pass a budget that goes to the city Monday night. We have been given a 2-day extension and the budget will be given to the city by midnight on Monday. Item 6 is timelines, so I'll segue right there. This is a very smooth segue, so I hope you'll appreciate a smooth segue when you see one. The timelines, the city deadline for submitting our budget is Saturday. We've been given a 2-day extension to Monday. So we have until midnight Monday. We'll vote Monday night on the budget. The discussion and debate, if you followed it, has been, how much of a budget, how big a budget to submit. Dr. Avery has been giving us the sort of, here's what we're gonna need to break even, and how much more do you want to add? And that's really been the discussion. It's been confusing to people, and so I'm summarizing that. So on Monday, we're gonna decide how much to add. And that's what we'll vote on Monday, and we'll vote on a budget and how much we're gonna add to it. And that's really what a lot of the discussion was last night. What do we add? How much do our children deserve? And that's really what we're here to talk about, is how much more do our children deserve? Because we all believe they deserve a lot more. And when we say our children, we're talking about the staff that works so hard to give our children what they deserve too, not just. And so that's something we all have vested interest in, as parents, grandparents, staff, all of us. Then you have the city timeline, right? Okay, we'll pass these around. This is the city timeline, which essentially we submit to the city our budget. The mayor has to submit. The mayor will you'll see in March. You'll see in March that the mayor will give out his budget. And then the council will hold their hearings. They first hold meetings with all the different departments. I know Jeff, you've been there for years. Went to those for years and years, down in the Wheeler room downstairs where you sit and you explain to the council committee why you need this budget, and Dr. Avery presents, and we all sit there. And then in April, and oftentimes they would schedule it during break, and we'd have to get them to change it. There's a public hearing, and the council issues its budget. And you try and get the council to put in a little more than the mayor offers, and then ultimately there's a final budget. This is a bit of an odd year because there's a revaluation of property. And so that gets thrown into the formula. And so, but the council people who came to our first budget meeting right after the holidays spoke about the complexity of it. The mayor has been working with us last year and this year, hopefully. I thought Anthony Pialetta would be here tonight, so I'm expecting that we'll be sitting down and talking to them. I know Dr. Avery has. We'll talk about that in just a second, but that's the general timeline, and the budget has to be finalized in the beginning of May, I believe, is when they will finalize that budget. They send their budget to the mayor on May 19th. Joe?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. There's a date in here that's not there yet. That's going to be upcoming. The committee hearing, the first budget hearing where Dr. Avery presents, I think it's important for us to make sure we catch that date, because half of us here, we sat through the flock, and the people there that didn't even speak, that just held signs, sent a very big message to the city council that this was important to everybody, that this building defeated, and this and the obverse can be true as far as we need to pass the money, but if this.
And again, another smooth segue here. Let me introduce Councilwoman Nicole Nelson, who just walked into the room. Nicole, this is a participatory meeting, so grab a chair and find yourself a seat right over there by PJ. He can squeeze you in.
I'm between here and miscellaneous, so.
Oh, they have a meeting downstairs? Okay,
But thank you.
all right. Well, I'll excuse you this time, but we want everybody around the table. We're
Yes,
gonna move Tables back, fit everybody, to make sure that we don't have anybody sitting behind anybody. But I appreciate your coming. So that's the general timeline of the city, and it's gonna really coincide with the state this year too, because this is a short session of the state. The state started yesterday, as everybody saw, to much, did you have a question?
Oh.
Okay. No, I just wanted to see.
So what month do you think, what month does that happen when, you have to present the budget?
Yeah,
No, for us,
City.
for the city.
City.
When we go.
it's a question about the city, Nestor.
Oh, no, they have the public hearing, they have to schedule public hearing and departmental hearing. The Budget and Appropriation Committee does that. They have,
Probably March, maybe?
The March
Yeah.
is when they have the meetings with the departments. April is when they have the public hearing.
Right, but the meeting that you think we need to flood people to, because you'll be.
March.
That's gonna be, okay, good.
When you're in the Wheeler Room like you were with the flock one.
it says it there between March 24th through May 15th.
Okay, great,
That's
thanks.
when you schedule it by the department.
Yeah, I just
I
wanna,
see it in red on the sheet.
yes, oh, okay, okay, good.
The exact meeting dates will be determined by.
Okay, great, right.
Yeah,
All right.
and if I can interject for a second, is somebody from, Dr. Avery's office affirmatively let them know when spring break is happening, so they do not schedule anything on top of spring break. Is that down here?
Yes.
I did.
We make sure we give them our spring break dates.
They've done it once.
They don't schedule during spring break.
Right, they've done that before, so that they can
Yeah.
avoid having people there.
It's gonna be an easy one because, if council president knows.
Yeah,
Board of Education,
Yes.
so it's gonna be an easy.
They've done it once on purpose. Other times it's been accidental.
yeah.
Serious? Yeah.
And there is one other thing on the timeline, which is, last year we took buses up to the Capitol, which was, it was somewhat effective because we did the last minute, but it could have been incredibly effective. So if we know it ahead of time.
You're ahead of me. We're on city still. You brought us back to city.
Sorry,
We were just getting to state.
I'm sorry.
You're always ahead of me, dear. I want to also point out, Mr. Woodson, Andre Woodson, Board Member Woodson has joined us. Thank you, Sam. And we've also confirmed that the Sheridan outage is what's bringing us why we can't broadcast. So let's go to the state and then you can go back and we'll come back to that. The budget, state budget, state legislative session began yesterday. With much fanfare, a number of people in the room were up there yesterday. And we do know, we found out a week ago that it says here, you'll see in the next item, which I'm going to talk about, in about 2 weeks, there's going to be a education committee hearing. We do know, well, we'll get to all this in a minute, but the legislative, this is the short session. So in 13 weeks, they end. So 13 weeks brings us to February, March, April. So they end actually before the city ends. First week of May, they are done. So this year, they're both coinciding. They'll both be ending the first half of May. And so this is a quick rush. This is not like last year, the middle and end of May, June. This is everything's got to be done by the middle of May. And so that's the timetable we're working on. And we do want to do the turnout, like you said. And that'll be, we'll have to get the hearing dates. The only hearing we know about right now is the education committee hearing, but we will have to get the big hearing dates. Go ahead and let me, Kim, you go ahead and raise what you want to raise. Let me check. I had asked to have a chart sent to me.
I just know last year it was put together, at the last minute, nobody's fault. And it was somewhat effective, but But we had a meeting afterwards and decided that if we put it together, a few of us formed a subcommittee and put it together now, started doing that, it could be incredibly effective. Because we could work with some youth, could prepare speeches, and instead we just heard the yeah from some couple senators, and so they used it, to jog home. So if we can use it, I think it could be incredibly effective. So I would just like to suggest that we put that together, and Nicole, I'd like to volunteer you and me and Shayla, who were the three that really started to put it together last year. Shayla is a parent, very active parent. And then we'd be happy to have, board members and anybody else be involved. But I know the three of us wanted to continue that and would like to do it with coordination with Dr. Avery and Danielle, whoever makes sense.
Well, through the chair, yeah, we are actually working on some things too. Last year we did it on Bridgeport Day at the Capitol. And we're also looking at doing a Bridgeport Day for this short session as well. And potentially April 22nd or the 29th is the days that we're looking at right now. That's the end, close to the end of the session time, whatever. But I'm working with the city to try to nail down a date. And those are the two tentative dates that she gave me that might work. So at least we'll know, and we'll kind of backward plan exactly what we need to do prior to that. I think it needs to be a little bit more advocacy prior to that one day, but still that one day.
Control it.
Yes, and we can kind of work through that. But John Carlo and Tam is taking a lead on that. And there's some things that's going to come out from the district side on writing letters. We got draft letters ready to go out. We got a lot more things done that we're planning for now this year than what we did last year. So
we schedule a joint meeting with your staff that's working on it and the parent group.
yes,
working
absolutely, yeah.
Can I call tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thanks.
Absolutely. And John Carlo and Tim are online right now, so they will.
Oh, great. Okay.
They're listening to.
Hey, guys, we'll call you tomorrow.
Conversation.
Thanks. Thanks so much. And you were both great last year.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So we've also been, brainstorming ways to get teachers, administrators, people that work in our public schools up to Hartford. I mean, I'll certainly speak whatever you want me to do, I'll do, because this is important. And we've been having discussions too with Dr. Avery about that. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's great. We're willing to mobilize. Yeah.
And we're ready and able to kind of get buses and things we need as well to kind of go along with that advocacy piece so that we can kind of cut down the cost of it.
Who's the she you were talking to?
Me? Oh, Constance.
I think that date's too late. I mean, let's double check that, but I'm worried about that date. Because if we're talking about the session ending a week later, I think the decisions are done. I mean, maybe not, but it's true. That makes me nervous. So we need to check.
John Carlo, Tam, you can
Well,
go back
the
on that.
22nd is a little better. The 29th, it may be a week before the session ends. I know there's a lot of wheeling and dealing that goes on with that. But we'll get to this in a second when we talk about what's happening now. But I'll tell you where they're moving now. And we're talking 3 months from now, or 13 weeks from now.
29th is too late.
It strikes me. So we just need to double check that date.
It's
No, we do. Okay.
the first Wednesday or
We have our ways.
it ends.
Jeff has his access through the CEA, and I have the same access and through the CEA, and so we just have different things. Show you on that.
Yeah, just on that. Actually, a couple of things that just.
Let me just point out, Mr. Woodson, you're welcome. Glad you joined us. I noticed you were here online, but the rule is you got to sit at the table, bro. So Nicole got an exemption because she's working downstairs at a committee meeting too. But you come on, we're moving over. This is a participatory committee meeting. Slide up to the table with a chair. What are we talking to? No. I know you won't because you never do. But it's just a participatory slide over, Joe.
Oh, what?
We're making room for Andre. Let me introduce Andre Woods. We did introductions at the beginning as a member of the board. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, to dive to the point of the dates, I definitely agree, because one of the things the governor said during his speech was, if your bill is a work in progress in, I forget which month he said, in February, don't get mad if they kill it. Your bill gotta be ready for prime time by February. So we definitely gotta make all our moves as quickly and efficiently as possible. And to Mr. Morrissey and his membership and his taxing as well. I think it can add a lot of value because many of your staff are not Bridgeport residents. They've got other delegates that they can speak to. They can speak to reps, delegates, and whatever. They can speak to that as a resident of, say, Bethel, whatever, wherever they live. I see their suffering in Bridgeport firsthand, and they truly need help. Would you please help us advocate for them in some way, shape, or form? And now spread our wings out to them.
We have a collaborative meeting next week with some EA organizers. That's something I'll bring up definitely.
Last year, we went up with postcards from members that told a story of what was going on in their classrooms and why they needed more money. And I mean, the more it gets done, the less powerful it'll be, but it was a new tactic. So the delegates who got them were surprised to actually get handwritten testimony from somebody. So we could do something like that. We focused on Bridgeport last year, although we did get some that were written to other people that we delivered well. So, everybody got a stack like that high. We couldn't get that many to every single delegate or every single elected because our members don't live in that, we don't have that many members in every single district, but we could potentially get something into the hands of many people in the state.
And even if I may, there's a testimony day as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great idea.
I was checking because Lou, who's one of the CEA lobbyists, was going to send me the governor's budget proposal, which I don't have yet. He and I talked this afternoon about our proposal and our needs here in Bridgeport. But what's really exciting this year is pretty much everybody. Last year, there was not a movement to increase. So I'm moving to the next item. There was not a movement to increase the education cost sharing. This year there is. This is a short session. They're not supposed to be talking budget this year. This is a short session where they do very limited, but it is on the lips of everybody. Lou said that to me this afternoon, that everybody's talking about it. We have generated that kind of interest and enthusiasm that everybody's talking about it. And there are meetings, Lou told me today, tomorrow and Monday with CEA, AFT, the two teacher unions, and CABE and the Connecticut Association of School Superintendents. They're meeting to talk about it. And there are proposals that are absolute garbage on this subject, but we're pushing a higher load. And so they're hearing us. So that's what he was calling me about, was to understand what we're pushing. Joe and I have a slight disagreement on it, but he wanted to understand because what we're pushing is higher than what other people are pushing, and there's some real garbage out there that won't help us. But, they are getting the message in other cities, New Haven, Hartford, through Connecticut for All, which is the coalition of unions, and churches and community organizations that my daughter's union is running 1199. We were at Albert, myself, Nicole, Willie, Maritza, Kayla, Medina. A week ago Saturday, there was a statewide meeting of municipal elected officials up in Hartford to talk about it, and education was on everybody's lips. The importance of doing something about education, and they all agreed that was just the issue they wanted to work on. And so it's out there. Meriden, Hartford, Bridgeport, New London, they're all working on it. So it's being pushed throughout the state. And it's being pushed big time. A year ago, and I'm not saying anything out of school that the BEA people don't want me to say. The CEA vice president said, we're not pushing the education cost sharing formula because it doesn't directly go to our teachers. And I said, so if we had more paras in the kindergarten room, that's not spending money on the teachers, right? Even though she wants it, right? Okay, I was up there for CEA lobby day. Right. Well, that's nuts. So now I know that CEA and AFT are both pushing the ECS. That's a huge change from last year. A huge change. So we just have all kinds of, just a better picture in Hartford. In an off year that they all know. Now, all on top of all that, 2 weeks ago, I talked to my daughter, who's the political director lobbyist for the hospital workers. And she says, look, I think we got to get Sujata Gadkar Wilcox to write a bill to fix the ECS. I said, okay, I spoke to Sujata about this. She goes, we don't need to. The Senate already has a bill to fix it. It's a priority bill 7. Oh, well, that's a huge load off of my mind. Because I'm thinking I got to persuade her to write a bill, and it's already been written by the Senate. And it's a priority bill of theirs. And Marty Looney from New Haven and these others are all doing this. And so it's not good enough because they want to do it, she said, in 3 steps. The first step being too low. But when you're fighting to make the steps better, that's a lot better than fighting to get a bill introduced. So again, all these things are pointing to a better environment. But as the governor said yesterday that y'all heard, if your bill's not in there, and in a good place by February, you're in trouble. Well, that's what we're fighting on. So in February, we're going to be testifying in February on the 17th about this bill and how it's not good enough and has to be better. So we'll get a better idea of what this bill says and why we want it to be better and what we need over the next few days so that we can then get people to testify. Now, Nicole went back downstairs. Nicole spoke to me last week, on a Monday as we were driving back, about testifying. Joe's done some things on his site about how you testify. People get nervous about testifying. I'm moving on. So let me stop there, actually. Any questions about the legislative, what's going on up in Hartford? Any other comments about what's going on up in Hartford? Yeah.
I could just say one thing. On any bill, there are certain legislators that are much more important than others, right? Everybody's vote's important, but in getting it out to get voted on, and Looney, who is the president of the Senate, for this to be in his bill, which is what Senate Bill 7 is his bill, that's incredible. That's crucial. So, and it means that we have to flood Looney. In fact, maybe on the 17th, let's think about it, go try to corner Looney as a group, whoever's testifying, because none of us are from New Haven, which is his district, and encourage him to know that we care about it. And we have friends in New Haven, and we're going to want to flood him with calls from his area. I just want to let you know, I one time did this on a bill for housing, and we flooded him because they were going to tax all these senior buildings. We flooded him to the point where he had his aide call me and say, okay, stop the calls. You're going to get your money. So, I mean, they hear it. And if we flood Looney, it will be very helpful. So I just wanted to say that. There's other people that will be very important in the House, but he's key. He's the key in the Senate. So we're like, oh, we just took a giant step, right? The first step up is really huge. And we're there on the first step.
Jen, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. Sorry, I was on the.
No, you just walked in.
I apologize.
This is the first break.
Yeah, I'm Jen Kellerman, BEA Vice President and 6th grade teacher at Madison School.
Willie?
Yes, thank you. What was the name, what's the number of that bill you said? I just want to make sure I'm in trouble.
What what I was told, Senate Bill 7, priority, it's a
7?
priority bill. Senate Bill 7, but I'll get the details, as we, from, I'll try and have it Monday if I can. Since the major players are meeting tomorrow and Monday, I'm hoping that gets us better details. But also through the CEA, lobbyists, we should have everything down because the AFT and CEA lobbyists will be there and they're both friends of ours.
Okay, just want to know who got the number now so I can get my people all to
And,
work.
and
Have a
I
copy.
want to reinforce what Kim said. When we were up there Monday, Nicole and Joe and I, we met with the president of the New Haven Federation of Teachers, Leslie Blateau, who's a part of the coalition, the leader, the K-12 education leader of the coalition. But we'll get the details on the bill. Anything else, Willie?
No, that's what I wanted to ask. I just wanted to write it
Okay.
down. That way I can start. We should have a copy of
And
that.
the Education Committee, just to be clear, is chaired by Senator McCrory, sorry, and Representative Leeper. Representative Leeper's from down this neck of the woods. So we see her from time to time. Senator McCrory, if you've been following his travails lately, is in some hot water up in the Hartford area because the Blue Hill Civic Association closed down last year and is under investigation for millions of dollars in money that's disappeared through some questionable activities. That's money he handed out. So he's a former teacher from Hartford and administrator, and he does a lot of chef money. And I've forwarded some articles to the folks down here from up there, but he's been asked by the governor to step down from his leadership roles. He hasn't agreed to because he keeps claiming he hasn't done anything wrong. But he is under a microscope. So we'll see. The vice chair is Gary Winfield from New Haven, who is a gem. So we'll see what happens there. Willie?
Definitely. I know you gave reference to the meeting that we were at in Hartford, and I know those legislative leaders, like you just said, that they highlighted in that meeting was House Speaker Matt Ritter, Senator President Martin Looney, but also key committee chairs and the appropriation committee that we should hit. And she's been a great advocate and spoke out. Senator Kathy Olston, also Representative Tony Walker, Finance and Revenue and Bonding was Senator John Fonfera and Representative Maria Horn. Those are the highlighted ones that we got from them, but definitely I want to see if we can reach out, especially to Senator Olston, because she was very instrumental in realizing when the state of Connecticut education said that we should do more with less, and she goes, we never had enough to do, so we can't do more with less when we never had more enough to begin with.
Senator Austin has come down and met with the superintendent. She's come down and worked with Senator Gaggar Wilcox to talk about the education cost sharing formula, and is a definite friend of Bridgeport. She is the chair of appropriations, the Senate chair of appropriations. So that's a very powerful friend to have. The House chair of appropriations is Tony Walker from New Haven. But the Senate chair is Senator Austin. Everything goes to appropriations later when you want the money, but we got to get the bill out of education first. But I think we're in good shape on that. We're in a good place, I should say. So I think that's all I have on the legislative update. Anybody have any other questions or comments? Okay, the education public hearing on the 17th. We need to get a lot of people to testify. So discussion and planning on that. The only other thing I would add that's not on the agenda is that Connecticut for All, the group that we went to the workshop a week ago Saturday that we're a part of, will do, they're going to set up next week an online training session. I'll get the details and we'll advise people of when, but they will do an online training session. It won't be just for Bridgeport, it'll be for, everybody. But people can sign up for that, on how to sign up for, to testify, how to prepare your testimony. So we will offer that, and we'll offer that link to everybody that's interested, on how you testify, how you prepare testimony. There is no, I'm gonna simplify, and I think that my wife will correct me, because I oversimplify, but testimony is essentially introducing yourself and thanking the chairs and members of the committee for letting you be there and saying what your position is. Then telling your story about why you take that position. And then saying thank you. That's the simplest way I can describe it. And your story is the most important thing. And people shouldn't make it anything more convoluted than that. And it should be, as she says, one page. Because you have 3 minutes. It goes real fast. But that we will set up a workshop on that, Joe.
Yeah, it can separate it out. We need to get something out on Parent Square and throughout the districts as well. And if our union comrades over here could get something out to their people as well. So everything should be contemporary. So we call it double. Take a backstop. All the time.
Everywhere we can. Anybody have any comments or questions on testimony? Or the legislative hearing? But the position we're taking is the education cost sharing formula hasn't been increased in 13 years. The difference that Joe and I have, and I'm not saying it to, is whether it's 16.5 or 17%. Thousand, sorry. It's 3.5. The average increase for the last 13 years has been 3.5, a little over 3%. So that would take it to $16,500, which would get us about $90 million. And if it was 17%, that builds in a factor that the School and State Finance Project website builds in for race discrimination, racial equity. That would make it 17,000, not 16,500 per student. That would give us 101 million, which, as you know, would put us in a very nice position. But either of them would put us in a nice position. So, but that's what we're asking for, is that they're overdue to catch us up. And
the
no,
and yeah, and either one number is not horrible, and they both work. Some people might be more comfortable pointing out the racial inequities, like myself. I've always, every single time, pointed out the racial inequities in everything, because that's where my passion lies, and my voice will sound the loudest when I speak. As you could hear coming out right now, my voice is getting a little bit offensive, and that's, you got to speak to your passion. If your passion is the 16,500, but more is always better, in my opinion. But you can't go wrong speaking to either one as far as getting us back on track. But then we should really quibble about which narrative we're going to take. Like either narrative should work to get us what we need. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't disagree, Mr. Medina.
Thank you. Just for an FYI, what I see as this Bill 7 in my research, it's literally just stating that the subdivision 9 of section 1026, 262F of the general statute be amended, redefined foundation by increasing the amount of foundation from 11,525 to $13,500. That is the increase for funding for public schools. That's what the bill states, which is the local number 576.
Mr. Medina, that's an increase from what it was a week ago. Already. A week ago, it was 1,000. So I'm not, my.
The week ago, it was 1,000? What do you mean it was
Yes, sir.
1,000?
What I just said. A week
Okay,
ago,
well,
it
I
was.
just gave the number of 13, it was from
Okay,
11,000.
I'm trying to explain to you what I just said. You asked a question. A week ago, when I talked to Senator Gankar Wilcox, she explained to me that Senate Bill 7 was 1,000 in the first year, 2,000 in the second step, and 2,000 in the third step. Now, there was some discussion about whether the steps were 1 year, 2 year, and 3 year, or more spread out. But that was what I was told. And I said, well, that's absolutely unacceptable. It's got to be more in the first step and less, if you're going to do it in steps, it's got to be more up front and less in the back years. It's going to be front loaded, not back loaded. But we'll have to fight about that. And so obviously it's changed in a week because that's more than 1,000 in the first year. So my point in this discussion is there's really no point in talking about, we're not going to support the bill. We're testifying about the bill, but we're arguing that it needs to be all up front. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, in your numbers, I do understand what you're saying, but it wasn't clear the way you said it. You said that it changed from the 1,000, and in what I read, the numbers, don't coincide with what you said. So that's why I wanted to give reference to what I read. That is going according to what I read specifically. It's 11,325 going up to 13,500. Even in your scenario, that it was only going to be 1,000 the first year. Again, you just said it, that it apparently increased. I'm just reading exactly what's out there right now as of February 4th, 2026. And in your numbers, it's not reflecting that it was going to go up 5,000 to raise up to the 16,325 that will reflect in the 3-year gap. I understand what you're saying, that we're hoping to get more right away. I appreciate you saying that, but I wanted to make very clear what I read, and I'm not objection or trying to come at you, but I just wanted to make sure that you understood what I read right now.
Willie, can you read those two numbers again? Sorry.
Absolutely, dear. So again, $11,525, and then it says to $13,500. I can send it to. I can send you a copy of the paper that I got right now.
No, that's 1,975. Oh. Let's see what the number went up to.
Which is $38 million.
Right, well,
Just to be clear to everybody in the room, that would now, $1,000 is approximately $19 million. $2,000 is approximately $38 million. So it's doubled in a week, from what I was told. And it is a fluid situation. That's what you're arguing for. That's what you're lobbying for. That's what you're pushing for. And that is the nature of legislation, is you're in there testifying that it has to be more. And that's what we're pushing for. And that's what we're going to continue to push for. What I tried to describe in the presentation is we went from having no bill to a bill. Now we have a bill that went from having 19 million to 38 million, and we want to keep pushing that. We still got to get the bill passed. So that's the nature of the fight in the legislature, is all of those elements. And none of that will happen if we don't do the work that Kim was discussing, that we've all been discussing, testifying, getting people out there, calling our legislators, all that stuff. Let me point out that we've been joined by board member Lamont Daniels too. Welcome, Mr. Daniels. Miss Estamera Jimenez?
Yeah, my comment was I wanted to comment on the differences between your number, Rob, and Joe's number. Um, there's always going to be some level of negotiation. So my train of thought is let's go for the higher number and see what happens.
That's fine. Thank you.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little more clarity on the bill that's up there. Because I think you and Mr. Medina were somewhat talking a little bit apples and oranges. You were talking about the escalation that we've heard about before. But the way I'm looking at this bill as written right now is some total of $2,000 period, end of sentence. An escalated $2,000 for this year. So, but everything you
It's
just
not a multi-year bill, it's a one-year bill.
correct.
Yeah.
But everything you said is still correct, that we need to improve the bill on this as well to get the
Again,
best case scenario, we get the $5,000, or whatever number it comes up with year one, and we end it in high escalating costs every year to the bill, so we don't have to keep doing this.
let me point out one other thing just for everybody's sake. It was pointed out to me by the CEA lobbyist today that for the last couple of years, there has been a move to eliminate the alliance money. That could be somewhere else. So, right. So it's not, you need to see the whole picture. And so we just need to be aware of everything. This may be, okay, it's a short session. We don't want to deal with a multi-year bill. We want to do a one-year bill. So we just need to keep, you get in there and you just keep fighting until the session's over for what you want. And what we want is a bill that gets us $5,000 per student. That's what we want. And that's what we keep fighting for. And no takeaway on the alliance money. So that, that's what we keep fighting for, and we keep talking to our legislators and anyone else about. So that's where we keep pushing right now. It's the first day of the session, for crying out loud. What do they say? The sausage is really ugly how it gets made. Well, they just started making the sausage. It's going to be an ugly 13 weeks.
But
So-
to double your money without anything, I mean, it really hasn't been any pressure, except they know, what happens is they're watching what happens out here, right? That's what's going on. And so the fact that the money went up in a day, they know there's talk all over the state because we don't have any calls in anywhere. Nobody's calling their state rep. Nobody's calling their senate. Everybody's yapping and they're coming back and saying, oh, in my town, they're yapping about this. Everybody wants money. And I've never seen it where the money doubles before anybody starts doing any serious advocacy work. So it means there's money to be had. You know, the old expression, what does a shark do when there's blood in the water? You know what a shark does? He goes for it. That says to me, there's blood in the water. So we got to go for it.
And I would point out one other thing, Mr. Daniels reminds me of it. I do know that at Wednesday, the mayor of Hartford hosted a breakfast of mayors. Mr. Daniels being the chief of staff for the mayor of Norwalk, they all went up and met in Hartford and then went over together. Powerful statement from the mayors. And the mayors are fighting for the ECF money. So, a lot of things are telling them this is an important issue. So.
Could I just add one little fact, which is on testifying on the 17th, you can testify by Zoom. So for all of you who need to work that day, You can testify by Zoom, and often your number will be in the evening. I hate to tell you. So it might be perfect. You can work all day and then testify your 3 minutes at 11 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Any other comments on the general public hearing? We will,
Sorry, it's not for question, made me think of something else. Yeah, as far as the testimony, I would, it starts at 3. I would like to suggest that we bring a contingent up there, 3 o'clock, and pack the room. And at least for the first few speakers, if like somebody gets a 3-4 o'clock slot from Bridgeport, everybody's like rose up in Bridgeport, we pack the room. And then at a certain time, we all disperse for the people who got to testify at 2 or 3 in the morning.
what Joe's talking about is that there are times, depending on who's chair, that we can sometimes get in people who are present to speak
The kids,
ahead of schedule, especially if we bring kids up. So if we have some students that want to testify, the legislators, once they get past letting themselves speak or administrative officials, they will let lots of students speak. So we may be able to do that. So they can go. Joe, no, item 9 is yours. You wanted me to have it really, Joe?
oh, there it is. Yeah, basically speaking to everybody writing op-eds in their own town, especially the out of district people writing to their newspapers and just getting it more out there. Everybody advocating on social media, speaking with the one voice, maybe 2 numbers, but one voice that we need to raise the ECS by X amount, the foundation amount of the ECS by X amount. Our kids are suffering, and tell you stories personally because it hurts. Things that happen to our students that hurts. Teachers explain how don't have librarians in the building. You speak to how it affects your classroom and how it affects when somebody's got a cover and there's the loss of a prep period. I'm first, the teacher might get stressed and whatever. Kindergarten teachers and first grade teachers in Bridgeport don't have paraprofessionals, and that's a lot more stress on the teachers in the classroom where they got to stop instructing them. I'm just assuming because I'm not a teacher. When a student has a meltdown and cries because they're away from mommy and daddy for the first time, there's nobody else, not another adult in that room for that teacher to address that. And while that teacher is addressing that, they are instructing that student, and that student for the rest of their career, that whole cohort of students are behind on that loss of instruction in the first grade, and then first grade teachers got to pick that up, and it kind of sets them up. So op-eds, testimony, we covered a lot of it here. Testimony, the general advocacy strategy. We've been talking about it all basically. It all comes together. So I just want to do a catch-all so we can talk about everything. One thing we really didn't discuss is collaboration and messaging with the districts around us. I don't want to focus in on so much as the differences in what the alliance grants are getting between the districts, because our fight is not with the other districts, our fight is alongside those districts. And a lot of those numbers are different because of poverty factors in the weights inside the formula, but fixing this foundation amounts, everybody in these districts are on the same page, raising this foundation amount. And Waterbury, New Haven, New Britain. I mean, we're talking about tens of millions of dollars rising tide, rising all
Lifting all boats.
thank you. Lift all boats, and that's we got to be mindful that we don't allow the state to pit us against one another as districts, or urban, suburban, rural districts. I always forget we once because rural, but I always forget about them. But they all will rise up with a rising foundation amount, except for the possibility of fewer wealthy districts who have been overfunded. But that's not what the formula was designed for. The formula was designed to take the property taxes. And also, we definitely got to press our city council, discuss that as well. Let them know whatever the state doesn't give us, we got to go after the city for. And it will behoove every single city councilor to come in and testify for their children. The city, because that's their job as well. It shouldn't be all on the Board of Education because that's what we need to do. We need to just have them come out and testify. That, you is like testified, a couple of people testified to this, and it's glad to hear that. And they pretty much stayed on message. So if we allow them to all testify, everybody grab a couple, and I'm sure they'll be willing and able. And not only us, the other districts that we are dealing with, well, like updating we started superintendents after. There was talk, I don't know if it got any legs, there was talk about a legislative day for urban districts. It was slightly mentioned, I don't know if it's got any legs or well.
I'm working with the urban school district superintendents, and we are actually getting ready to mobilize that we're meeting in the next week or so to figure out exactly what we did. We've already written a letter, you know, with all our signatures on it to the legislators as well. But we have a meeting coming up soon to talk about what we're gonna do on that.
February 10th, I think.
Yeah.
And Dr. Avery, just when you know that date, let Jeff and I know that because it will probably, the way the union distribution works in this state, AFT will probably be there.
Okay.
But we would not immediately be there because most of the urban districts that would be in that coalition with you are AFT locals.
And the final. And the final piece, Mr. Chairman, is the joint for op-eds or letter to the editor. Just from the board's perspective.
Any other thoughts on other things we should do? Anybody else?
But it looks like we got a new person, Sam.
Sam is the man. Makes everything happen.
I just have some questions. Is now a good time?
Anytime you want.
All right. One, I just want to recognize it's 7 o'clock. We've been in for an hour and a half, so I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Try to move quickly. I just, maybe to take, I guess, maybe just some points of clarification. How are we all communicating with each other?
Well, we're gonna start building that. That's what we're getting to at the end here.
Oh, okay, so we're gonna discuss that.
About sign-in sheets.
Because to your point too, with the union leader on the phone there, we should be able to socialize everything so that we're all in touch with everything and all together, right? We're stronger together than we are separate, right? So we gotta keep each other all informed and everything. And then for your communication strategies, sounds like you have some great ideas. I'm happy to bottom line some of that. I was wondering too, are we gonna be at a point in this meeting where we start assigning actions to certain people to take on certain responsibilities so we can hold some accountability to each other in this group for these actions that we're both deciding on?
Well, we're gonna be testifying is with the main activity right now is about 2 weeks from now, we're gonna testify.
Right, that's on February
And
17th.
that's gonna be February 17th, 2 weeks from Tuesday.
And when is the, sorry, when's the training that
Date has been set.
and that's CT for
CTE for all.
yeah, and they're gonna have the training?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will send that out, which is what the sign-in sheet is about.
Right.
So I can send that out to everybody.
All right, and so then I don't want to take over this meeting. Are these questions okay with everybody?
Yeah, great,
All right.
great.
All right. And one thing I'd like to introduce maybe is we can do what's called progressive stack. Has anybody heard of what progressive stack is? So it's a way of lining up a queue in conversation, and so that we prioritize those voices who are not heard as often. But no offense, y'all, but this meeting is obviously going to be dominated by a certain minority of people, and I do recommend that we try to work in so that we hear voices. There are voices that have not been heard at all today. Trying to make sure that everybody's voice is heard equally. Also, especially if we're going to bring in other members of the community, we want to elevate their voices as well and make sure that they feel that they're equally heard as anybody else. All right, so as far as advocacy strategies that Joe mentioned,
I'm happy to work with you on that and try to get some messaging out. Is it appropriate that we have some like templated messaging that we're sharing around? Is everybody okay with that? That's our.
Yeah, my staff has already had that prepared to give out. So those two guys, the communication guys online, we've already done a lot of behind the scenes things to kind of get ready for this. So what you're gonna do and they're gonna be at next meetings moving forward too. So they're online today, but they're gonna be in the rest of the meetings, but they will be instrumental in getting things done. They have connections with a lot of the legislative, offices, the city offices. We're gonna get, email addresses, phone numbers, so that it's easy for people to make that contact with you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do all of that for the community as well.
Okay, wonderful. And then I just had a couple more questions. So right now, I guess it sounds like we've discussed it, but I just would like to hear it succinctly, maybe from the chair. What is it exactly that we are fighting for right now? We are fighting for an increase that gets the number to 17,000 per kid. Is that what we're fighting for? Is that our target?
We're fighting to see the ECS fully funded.
Okay.
And the only quibble you heard on that was whether that means 16.5 or 17,000.
Got it.
And that's the only quibble you heard on that.
Wonderful.
So if you simply did it on cost of living, it would be 16.5. There is a factor you can build in using a tool. I'll leave it at using the tool because it just gets too technical. It adds the 500 more that would make it 17.
Yeah. Because the reason I'm asking is because I want to be able to advocate in my community, and the more simple and precise the message is, the easier it's going to be.
You use it. The simplest method is to say, if you did it by the cost of living, it would be 16.5. If you add, there's another factor that would factor in racial inequity that would add it to 17.
Got it. And
that's the simplest way to tell.
Wonderful. And what's it at now?
It's at 11.5.
Okay, so we're looking
since 2013. So it's a 13-year increase.
Yeah, that's still confusing me.
But it hasn't been increased in 13 years.
Thank you. That's what I'm. All right. So it's called ECS.
The Education Cost Sharing Formula.
The ECS has not been updated. It's not been increased in 13 years, and so we're looking for them to catch it up now and move it from
$11,500 per student.
Yeah.
Rounding it 525.
11 to 7.
16,500. Just as the cost of living is 16.
I understand.
Okay, so he asked that question. You can add in the $500 factor, which the school and state finance project adds in. So one or the other, the cost of living is 16.5.
Yeah.
That's, and then the $500 factor, the school and state finance act is another 500. So meet up to catch up that thing up to the cost of living, 16.5. That $500, $5,000 a student. So that's what.
Okay.
16.5. Okay.
All right. Cool. Yeah. All right. I yield my time. Thank you.
Okay, so. No, I'm not- I won't
Just-
argue about
No,
that.
no, I just want to add an extra point. The cost of living is not necessarily the cost of delivering an education. Cost of delivering an education is far exceeding the cost of inflation.
That is correct. And that's in the post that I put online today. So what Todd you're raising is what the last 2 points on the agenda are about. Who else is missing that we need to get on this, involved in this? And what do we want to, when do we want to do it? What do we want to do at the next meeting? Because that's really, this meeting was called together. We had hoped to do this 2 weeks ago and be moving on this a couple of weeks ago. And the question is, who else do we want to get involved? There are people who I thought would be here tonight that aren't. Because it was called too much of last night, and so notice didn't go out at the right time. But who else do we want to directly invite, come to the next meeting to help them get us involved in how we want to run that? And who wants to reach out to them? That's really the next task, with the knowledge that we are primarily focusing now on a committee meeting that's going to happen in Hartford, that we want to get as many people as we can involved. And I'll point out, we have the union, we have administration, we have board. We don't have parents, we don't have students, we don't have principals, other than you. And yeah,
Administrators.
2 communities here. Yes.
One of the things,
Through the chair.
one of the things we're gonna do as well is, we have a list of community partners. I think it's about 80 of them. And we're going to kind of target that group to get them involved in, the advocacy piece. They've already said that they're willing and able to do it, but just, we got to get it out there and let them know every meeting, every event, that we have, we're gonna make sure that they are aware. So I think we should be able to get more participation, for sure, moving forward as well.
I can make the road, 'cause I have a meeting with them on something else. And I have about 10 parent leaders, which I can call.
Upstairs in the,
Hold on one sec, Maritza.
You're gonna
And
need a
Jeff?
location if you start getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Partners.
Community partners.
I was waiting to see what tonight was, and I was praying that what the organizer's dream is that the room's too small. And I was disappointed the room wasn't too small tonight. Jeff and then Maritza.
I got a split, but I can connect with Steve Douglas tomorrow because we had a conversation and he wanted to, have me just, fill him in.
Yeah, I was gonna call him tomorrow too.
Yeah, and then I can, I found out about this, I talked to the E-Ward, we obviously have some people already. But we can increase that and I'll, if Steve's not able to make it, one of some other people will be.
I sent a direct invite to him and asked him to make sure somebody from BCAS was here, so.
Did I get an invite?
Well, no, but I sent you a copy of the agenda. Yes, I called you 2 days ago and you didn't call me back.
I know, I had an emergency.
Yeah, I know, I heard you, but that was what that was about, and he got the same thing, so he knew it. So anyway, I said, please make sure somebody from BCAS is here. But it was still short notice, regardless, because we only set it up Monday and then scheduled it as quickly as we could. So it's just short notice and we want to move. So I want to schedule another meeting and I want to figure out who else we want to invite. So who else do we want to invite? Kim said make the road. You have your list, but I'm disappointed we didn't reach out to them for tonight. Because that list is important. Todd, anyone else you have in mind? Go ahead.
Can you invite our city president, Mr. General?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Maritza.
Yeah, Maritza was next. Maritza.
Oh, so a few things. First, I wanted to know if we can get the PAC and PTSOs involved, and just have like the presidents attend this meeting. Because I think if we can do that, we can get that parent involvement that we're missing right now. And then the other thing, and I'm fighting with myself in saying this, but does it make sense to meet weekly until the 17th so that we can get all our ducks in a row for testimony? I know that might be overburdensome, and I'm kind of hating I said that right now, because that's a lot on a lot of people's plates, but does it make sense for us to do that until the 17th so that we can get testimonies and flyers ready? Also worth considering, one last thought, is that if testimonies on the 17th and we want parent involvement, we need to have flyers out on Parent Square or whatever, like next week, because we're also going to be competing with winter break, and so parents might not be paying attention as much. So just, I know that was a lot I threw at you guys, but some stuff for consideration.
Next week is a short week. We have President's Day that we're off Thursday, Friday, and Monday of next week, and then Monday of the following week. So, and we have a board meeting on Monday. So.
Second.
we have a finance meeting on Wednesday.
Hold on. What?
We have a finance committee meeting on Wednesday.
Policy.
Policy. Oh, policy.
Yeah, I thought he said it was the third Wednesday.
Second.
The third meeting, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was the second too. Okay. So hold on, Maritza, I'm gonna respond to you in a second. Albert was.
So you can invite the city council president, Janet Harold.
Well, I thought the city council was gonna be here, and Anthony said he was gonna be here, so that's a part of the, I'm wondering. So I need to, it was short notice, we need to get better at that. So that's part of what I think you're legitimately raising. So that was you.
Just to the point of the loaded schedule, the schedule is mostly loaded for staff and the superintendent. Necessarily run an ad hoc committee. We don't need the president, we don't absolutely need everybody's presence here. We could conduct a meeting and then give a summary to Dr. Avery and the staff of what the committee has decided to do. We just need,
Okay, I got it. I agree with you. Can run with Sam and
Could I add a little
one other.
wrinkle? I didn't realize how soon the 17th is.
It's a week from Tuesday.
Yeah, they want the testimony the day before. Because they make copies for every legislator on the committee. So they're gonna want the testimony emailed to them on the 16th, which is that Monday.
Which is a holiday.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're even gonna get it in on a holiday. So we're gonna have to talk to Katie about how they even submit testimony on a state holiday.
I email it in. They're
I
all,
understand, but how are they gonna?
No one's gonna be reviewing it.
it's not a problem. They're all working it. Anyway,
We need to check and see if that's really gonna, how they're gonna, but if they're gonna, so anyway, we'll find out.
yeah.
That's a complexity. And Maritza, I was gonna say meet again next Thursday, except when Dr. Every said it's a holiday.
Yeah.
It's gonna complicate matters because people are gonna take advantage of the holiday.
Yeah.
So, and I would say Wednesday, but because I'd heard you say third Wednesday, I thought you had changed it. So Wednesday doesn't work for us. And we are gonna get this training by Katie, so I think we have to hold up and see what date we get out of Katie, but yes, I think we should. So I'm open to Tuesday, if Katie doesn't schedule on Tuesday, but we have to wait and see what Katie tells me about the Connecticut for All training.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah,
And I
that's-
will,
That's really short notice, so we'll have to know on Monday, but if I find out tomorrow, I'll send it out to everybody. As soon as I find out, I just don't know how else to do it, because that is short notice, because the testimony, I know, is a week from tomorrow. And I will tell you that I did get a call from Faith Villegas from BPEF yesterday, about this meeting. So some people were paying attention and saw it, but as fast as we get the notice out, we need to do better. Because it is,
You can get some of the faithful testifying, won't you?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she will. And so we just need to do outreach. So who else? Anybody have any other suggestions on who to reach out to? Willie, Lamont? Who else should we be reaching out to in the community?
I definitely could think about it and get back to you, send something.
I'll be reaching out to Faith Facts, because believe it or not, they have the same self-interest we have. The charter schools want that ECS formula raised too.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanna, it's part of that, but I wanna read a comment, and this is a comment coming from me. Bridgeport, Connecticut represent in the State House of Representatives delegation of Democrat from 2025 and 2026 section, including 124 District Andrew Baker, 126 Mr. Fred, 127 Marcus Brown, 128 Christopher Rosario, 129 Steve Strapson, 130 Antonio Felipe, 133 Christine McCarty, and the state senator represented Bridgeport, Suhara and Jenna Gaston.
Yeah.
Why I'm saying this isn't the people that represent Bridgeport. This is the people they're supposed to be communicate you with us what we want from Bridgeport. They really know what we want. I always say this. This is the people they know what Bridgeport Public School want. And something to ask my question, where they are, where we need them. Because when it's time, I cannot say everyone, some of them they come and call. But when they need us, they show up. They break your door in your window. But when we need us, we need them for Bridgeport Public School for our kids, where they are. I would
This is the
say
year
that
they
that's
need
for the,
us.
for the.
This is the year they need us.
Yep.
The governor and all of them need us.
But it's time, they step in because they are sit down there just because they're not have a last name with a beautiful. They there because we.
Who else do we want to remind them how much they need?
Let me make sure I mean, the Bridgeport delegation has done a really good job. We met with them last week to talk about our budget. So we've tried to give them the necessary data sources to be able to go and have factual conversations with the legislators and the community that they serve. So I think we should be able to get, you know, and I met with probably 6 of them yesterday at the state capitol individually to talk a little bit more about that. So I feel that they're open and ready. I went and had a conversation with what's his name? Speaker of the House yesterday in his office with Chris Rosario. I had a great conversation with him. So I feel that they've done a good job of positioning the district to kind of make sure those fundings are going to be allocated. So I'm going to do my due diligence to make sure that we are at the forefront of those conversations. And so, again, what we're going to do collectively is going to be powerful. And then we're going to bring it in for the home run, you know, closer to the end of the legislative session. So I think we have a great position right now, guys, and we just have to maximize.
But that's great that well, you respect, and I hope they keep doing that, not because the election is coming. That's the only thing I can say. I hope they keep doing that all the time.
Who else?
Thank you.
Question on the agenda is who else? Who else do we want? Anybody have any other suggestions for who else we get? No? Is it who else?
Oh, who else?
That's the agenda. Who else?
Who else? People who have never testified before,
Who else? That's what's on the agenda. That's what I'm asking.
5
Do not
people.
deviate
5
from that
people,
question.
right, 5 people who have never testified before. If each one of us in this room get those 5 people, we got 100 people, which would be more than really ever testified. I mean,
Okay, but who else do we want to invite to the next meeting? Who else do we want to get?
everybody bring 5 people. If we just keep trying to do something big, if we can do
I'm
something.
not debating. I'm asking if anybody invites
Invite.
organizations, people in the community.
Yeah, everybody
else?
can bring
All right.
5 people, each one bring one.
And then the next meeting is gonna have to be after the hearing. I'm afraid. Because it's just, we're gonna have to do the work for the hearing.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how we can do them, because we have a board meeting Monday. Andre's meeting is on Wednesday. We either conflict with Andre's meeting, we do a meeting on Tuesday. Is there anything on Tuesday? But we don't know if Katie's gonna do it, which will be Tuesday or Wednesday, so we're not gonna schedule it for that. It'll have to be after the hearing. And we'll have to, when the hearing, we do want to make plans for how we get people up there, so we'll have to do that ad lib. If we're gonna take people up there, if anyone wants to go up there, we'll poll people about who wants to go up there and carpooling on how we get up there.
We can make it, depending on how many people go, we can probably get a bus to do that.
Yeah. Okay, that's everything.
Invite testifiers to be part of this next meeting, which will be happening, so.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'm sure
And
some.
in which case, then I would be looking at the 25th for the next meeting, or the 26th, or the 24th, 25th, 26th. Does it matter to anybody?
Are any of those days on Wednesday? Because Wednesdays are usually.
Yeah, Wednesday's 25th.
24th is Tuesday, 25th is Wednesday, 26th is, the
Everybody.
25th will be my meeting, so
Yeah.
24th is 26th. Let's keep it on Thursdays. Let's go with the 26th. Do you have a problem with the 26th?
We have the minute.
We have that in the way.
Minute ceremony.
It's a
Regular ceremony.
The end to win it.
Oh, right. So we'll do the 24th then. Tuesday is 24th. And if you have suggestions, let me know. And if we need a bigger room, then we'll go down to Aqua. But you gotta let me know who, yes, Albert?
You contact somebody, you know, from the churches, you know, pastor, you know.
Yes, who? Who do you want me to contact? I know people. I know who I would contact, but who do you want to contact?
The people you know, you know.
No, it's not gonna be the same people.
Okay.
And that's really, I mean, Bobby should be here. Why Bobby's not here? You can contact Bobby, I can contact Bobby, Will you contact
She's
Bobby?
on our list.
Huh? She's on your list too, right? If you had sent out your list, it would have gotten to her. Who? Maritza?
Yeah, I have a question. My coordination is like driving me nuts a little bit. So, Rob, are you gonna send out like the flyers and like the QR code so people can like sign up for testimony? Because I'm now getting a little bit worried that we might not have that in time for the 17th.
Katie's gonna send out a link for the prep. We're gonna have to, I had thought the rest of those would be here. Omar did the link, the Q code. We gotta talk to Omar about that. And so, yes, we need to figure out that. But I will talk to Katie about signing up people for it, but that's fairly easy. The state committee will have a link on their website, so we'll have to just find the link and attach it to a flyer. So we can work that out, yes.
Okay, so we're gonna be working through emails from this point forward through the testimony.
I think that we'll put the link on emails, we'll put the link on flyers. Omar had a Q code he used last year. If we can use the Q code, and try and help people, and if people on individual assistance, we'll offer that up too.
One last question. Are we intending to also send flyers like the old school way to all the different schools and post it on Parent Square? I know that's a lot of money, but has that been a consideration? Because I'm also thinking like the libraries, we should probably post like flyers at too.
No, that's like good.
You can make one easy. The two experts are right there on the board.
Okay.
Giancarlo and Tim.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah. So the comm side, we'll handle all of that. We'll get tomorrow, Mr. Traver, if we can jump on a call after this and just kind of like strategize and further ensure that we're aligned. But yeah, all of that is absolutely possible. Actually, all of it's basically done on our end. So we'll be able to submit everything, share everything prior for feedback. We developed a advocacy budget manual as well that we'll be sending around to the group for review and any suggestions or tweaks. And then in addition to the written testimony, um, essentially what we are planning is working with Dr. Faga to essentially have students, since she's director of literacy, have students write testimony on behalf of the district. In addition to that, we already developed a quick link sign up. You literally scan a QR code. The testimony is basically written already. It drives straight to your email, and all you have to do is press send. It's very, very simple. Clicks of buttons. And we are also going to be utilizing all of our communication channels, from our district podcast to our parent square to videos. There will be massive amounts of different variations, from video to static assets to graphics, that we are going to be sending out each multiple times each week. But yeah, so basically we can Mr. Traber, if we can jump on a call after this, we can kind of just go over everything, and
Yeah.
then we can take it from there.
I think, Giancarlo, you and I need to sit down tomorrow, because I think that you need to see this as we have a half a week.
Absolutely.
Because vacation starts on Thursday and the hearing is when vacation ends.
Absolutely. Understood.
So it's not, we don't have that much time. So
Absolutely. Agreed.
tomorrow.
So I know we are speaking on who else should we invite. Carly has developed a community partners. It's like 40 plus community partners that have been supporting the district. We can absolutely
They should have been
utilize that
invited,
list.
they should have been invited tonight. So I'll, it's an oversight. I'm not gonna dwell on it. We just should have invited them tonight. And because this hearing's coming up, so we gotta move on inviting them to testify and working with them on that, and we'll just move forward. I'll take responsibility for that.
Understood. Yeah, moving forward, we can just have a better plan,
Yep.
and just make sure that we're aligned. So if we can sit down tomorrow, that'd be amazing.
Yep.
Thank you.
I will, after the meeting, you and I will talk and schedule a time tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, well, no, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Todd, anything else on what you were talking about?
We're good.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah, no, we're good.
That's what this is supposed to be about.
I just think maybe Maritza and I might be able to help you with that call with Giancarlo, but we can talk about that. But,
Okay.
it sounds like
On the
we're,
paper part, I'm not sure about Maritza. I'm just not sure about the paper. Be honest with you.
it's tight and aggressive, so we gotta be
Yeah.
in mind.
But
I can carve out some time this weekend.
yeah, no, I hear you, but I'm just not sure about the efficacy of paper.
Gotcha.
Yeah, maybe they found on it, because, it's something I did a while back.
You can comment on.
Thank you.
Something I did a while back was, when we were advocating on the city side, I stood in front of the schools and talked to the parents and told them what they were in jeopardy of losing and
Right.
handed them a flyer.
Right.
If we got a few people that want to go spread out to the schools, and on that flyer could be, you lost your librarian, we're trying to get your librarian back, we need you to come out and have the QR code available on there. It's like getting people to vote for you.
It's an easy step.
It's like eye to eye contact is really no replacement for that. It's old school, but people still do a lot for a reason, because it's. Yeah, we can do that before and after the 17th. Correct. You can fly on the right one, yeah.
All of this stuff, because then you put in legislative phone numbers and council phone numbers.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Given the fact that we have a FOI committee meeting, I'll take a motion to adjourn from a board member.
So move. Okay, sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Bye.
It's 85.